Imagine you're holding the steering wheel of a really fast car, and you're holding it so tightly that your knuckles are, like, completely white.
Oh, yeah. We all know that feeling.
Right. You know every single bump in the road ahead. You trust your own reflexes more than anything else in the world. And the very idea of letting someone else drive, it completely terrifies you.
It is the worst feeling for a Scorpio.
Exactly. For a Scorpio, giving up control feels a lot like giving up oxygen. But this week, the stars are practically forcing you to hand over those keys and slide right into the passenger seat.
Which is a huge adjustment.
It's massive. Welcome back to Horoscope TV. This show is exclusively for you, our Scorpio listener, and we are covering the week of May 11 to May 17th, 2026. You need to tune in right now because this week puts a massive, undeniable spotlight on your closest relationships.
Yes, it really does.
The charts are showing us that you have this rare, beautiful chance to start a brand new chapter with someone important in your life. But, only if you understand how to navigate the astrology heading your way.
That control metaphor you used is just, it's the perfect way to start. Because when we look at the astrological charts for this specific week, they are incredibly active for Scorpios.
Like unusually active, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially in the areas of life where you have to, well, share the driver's seat. It's not just one random planetary event. We are looking at a very specific sequence of movements that build on each other day by day.
Right, and we are going to look closely at your love life, your work, your money, and your health. We're analyzing all the meaning out of the astro data so you know exactly what to expect.
And there's a lot to expect.
For sure. And I want to get right into the mechanics of this because I was looking at your charts for this week, and the shift in energy is just huge.
It really is.
It feels a bit like you have been walking around in a heavy winter coat for months, and suddenly someone tells you it is safe to take it off. There was this rush of fresh air, new hope, and a lot of bustling activity, especially with the people you care about most.
It is a profound shift, honestly. Let's look at the big picture and this massive spotlight on connection. The positive energy starts flowing right away on May 11.
Okay, kicking things off strong.
Yes. The sun is in the sign of Taurus, and it makes this fantastic angle, an angle we call a sextile to Jupiter.
Okay, let's stop right there and explain the mechanism. Because a lot of times people hear, the sun is making an angle to Jupiter, and it just sounds like space math.
Great. It can sound a bit technical.
What is a sextile, and why does it actually matter to a Scorpio waking up on May 11?
That is a great question. So imagine the zodiac as a giant 360-degree circle in the sky. When we say two planets are making an angle, we mean we are measuring the distance between them on that circle.
Just literally how far apart they are.
Exactly. A sextile happens when two planets are exactly 60 degrees apart. And in astrology, 60 degrees is an angle of opportunity.
So it's a good thing.
It is a very good thing. But it's not forceful. It doesn't hit you over the head like a sudden lightning bolt. Instead, it's like a door unlocking. You still have to turn the handle and walk through it yourself.
Okay, I love that. So it's an invitation, not a demand.
Perfectly said. And look at the planets involved here. The sun represents your core focus, your life force. Jupiter is the largest planet in our solar system, and in astrology, it's the planet of growth, luck, and expansion.
So they're teaming up.
Yes. When the sun and Jupiter are 60 degrees apart, they are having a very friendly, encouraging conversation. For a Scorpio, this really expands your long-term plans.
So you wake up on May 11 feeling like, I don't know, things are actually possible.
Yes. The heavy, secretive weight that Scorpios often carry just feels a little lighter that morning.
It sounds like a great day to just sit down with a cup of coffee and actually think about what you want your life to look like in 5 years, without that usual voice in your head telling you all the ways it could go wrong.
That is the exact right way to use this energy. You dream without the heavy boundaries. But the mood shifts to something much more active just a couple of days later.
Oh, 13th, right?
Yes. On May 13th, the moon enters Aries. This completely changes the rhythm of the week. You are going to feel very busy, highly motivated, and full of physical energy to just tackle your daily chores.
Wait, why does the moon moving into Aries do that? I mean, the moon usually represents our feelings and our internal world, right? It feels soft. But Aries is fire. It's aggressive. How do those two things mix for a Scorpio?
You really have to look at the ruling planets to understand this. Scorpio and Aries actually share a historical connection.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Before the planet Pluto was discovered in the 1930s, ancient astrologers assigned Mars as the ruler of Scorpio, and Mars is the absolute ruler of Aries.
Okay, and Mars is all about action.
Exactly. Mars is the planet of action, war, and forward momentum. So when the soft, emotional moon travels through the fiery, action-packed sign of Aries, your feelings become tied to action.
Ah, I get it.
You don't just want to sit and feel your feelings on May 13th. You want to do something about them. You feel this burning need to clear the decks, scrub the kitchen, organize your desk, and just get things moving.
So you start the week dreaming big on the 11th, and by the 13th, the moon is basically handing you a broom and telling you to get to work.
That's a great way to put it.
That actually makes a lot of sense because you are making space. You're clearing out the clutter in your physical life to prepare for what comes next. And looking at the charts, what comes next is massive.
The absolute biggest event of the entire week.
Right. It happens on May 16th. There is a new moon in Taurus.
Yes, this is the peak moment.
And it happens directly in the Scorpio partnership zone. This is that beautiful opportunity we mentioned at the start of the show, the chance to start a brand new chapter with someone important, or to renew your commitment to a close friend.
It's a very powerful placement.
But I want to really dig into why this happens in Taurus, because Taurus is an earth sign, right? Very solid, very slow-moving. Scorpio is a water sign, very intense, very deep. How do these two completely different elements interact during a new moon?
It's all about balance and opposition. On the zodiac wheel, Taurus and Scorpio sit exactly opposite each other. They are 180 degrees apart.
Okay, so they're facing each other.
Yes. This means they represent two halves of a whole. Scorpio is the deep, swirling ocean. The feelings run so deep that they can pull you under. Taurus is the solid, unmoving shoreline.
Oh, I like that image.
Right. So when you have a new moon, which is always a time of planting new seeds and setting new intentions happening in the sign of Taurus, it offers that solid shoreline to the Scorpio ocean.
That makes a lot of sense. Water needs a container or else it just spills everywhere and makes a huge mess. Taurus provides the container.
Exactly. It gives your relationships a grounded, earthy foundation to actually grow on. It is the difference between making a wild, emotional promise in the heat of the moment and sitting down at the kitchen table to carefully plan out how you are going to support each other.
Yeah, that's completely different.
The Taurus energy anchors the intense Scorpio water.
But, I want to push back on this idea of a new chapter for a second.
Okay, go ahead.
If the new moon on the 16th is all about starting something new in partnerships, I can imagine some listeners hearing that and getting a little nervous.
Sure, change can be scary.
What does that mean for a Scorpio who has been happily married for, say, 10 years? Does new always mean a new person? Because if I am happily married and you tell me a new chapter is starting in my relationship zone, part of me wonders if my life is about to get turned upside down.
That is a very valid concern, and it's a super common misunderstanding of how the charts work. You absolutely do not need to worry. New does not mean discarding the old, especially not with Taurus energy involved.
Because Taurus likes stability.
Exactly. Taurus hates sudden change. Taurus loves loyalty and longevity.
Okay, so how does a new moon in Taurus bring something new to a 10-year marriage?
In a long-term marriage or, a long-term business partnership, a new chapter can simply mean a renewed promise to each other. It could be the day you finally sit down and agree to start looking for a new house. Yeah. Or it could be the week you decide to adopt a pet together. Or it could be as simple as breaking an old, tired routine.
Like what?
Maybe you've spent the last 3 years eating dinner on the couch watching television, and on this new moon, you both decide you are going to start eating at the table and actually talking to each other again.
Just shaking things up a bit.
Right. It's finding a fresh way of living together that feels better and more grounded than before.
I really love that. It's like turning the page in a book you're already reading rather than throwing the book away and going to the library for a different one. It is a reassurance that your current bonds can simply deepen.
Beautifully said.
And then, rounding out the week on May 17th, the charts show Mercury entering Gemini. This seems like a completely different vibe.
Oh, it is a very different vibe. Mercury is the planet of the mind, communication, and processing information. Gemini is the sign that Mercury rules, so Mercury loves being in Gemini.
It's right at home.
Exactly. It's fast, curious, and wants to know everything. For a Scorpio, when Mercury moves into Gemini, it shifts your mind toward deep mysteries.
And Scorpios already love a good mystery.
They do. Scorpios are the detectives of the zodiac. So with Mercury in Gemini, your brain is going to be moving a mile a minute. You are going to want to research fascinating new subjects, dig into puzzles, and figure out how things work behind the scenes.
So we have this incredible build-up across the whole week. We start out feeling hopeful and dreaming big on the 11th. We get busy and clear out the physical clutter on the 13th.
Yes.
That paves the way for this huge, grounded peak moment of new beginnings in our relationships on the 16th, and then our brains kick into high gear on the 17th.
That is the big picture, yes.
And since the overarching theme of this whole week is all about these close partnerships, we naturally need to look at exactly how this plays out in your romantic life. Because honestly, looking at the astro data, the romantic forecast for Scorpio is practically glowing. It is completely blessed right now.
It truly is. The stars are highlighting romance in a very step-by-step logical progression. It's not just a random flash of passion, it's a building of trust, which is the most important thing for a Scorpio in love.
Let's break down that progression because I notice the charts have a very specific timeline. It starts on May 13. We already talked about the moon being in Aries and making you want to clean the house, but there's something else happening that day. Mercury makes a connection to Jupiter. What does that do for love?
Well, Mercury rules how we talk and how we listen. Jupiter, as we discussed, rules expansion, hope, and the future. When they connect, it helps you and your partner dream big.
Okay, so dreaming together.
Right. The conversations you have on May 13 are not going to be about who forgot to take out the trash. They are going to be about the big picture. You might find yourselves talking about future travels or shared adventures you want to take next year.
It's like sitting on the couch with a laptop, looking at travel destinations, just letting yourselves imagine the possibilities without worrying about the budget just yet. It's the dreaming phase.
Precisely. You need the dreaming phase to open the mind. Because the very next day, May 14th, the energy grounds itself. The Sun and Mercury join together in the sign of Taurus.
The charts note this as one of your best dates of the week. What happens when the Sun and Mercury join together like that?
There's an ancient astrological term for this called kazimi. It comes from an Arabic term meaning in the heart of the sun.
Kazimi.
I like the sound of that.
It's a great word. When a planet gets extremely close to the sun, within 1 degree, it is considered Kazimi.
Normally, doesn't the sun burn up other planets if they get too close? Like if a planet gets too close to the sun's glare, its energy gets hidden or weakened? Yes, that is exactly right. That is called being combust. The sun's brilliance overpowers the other planet. But Kazimi is the rare exception.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, when a planet enters the exact heart of the sun, it is no longer burned up. Instead, it is illuminated. It sits on the throne of the king. So when Mercury, the planet of communication, is Kazimi in Taurus, your ability to communicate becomes incredibly pure, powerful, and clear.
That is fascinating. So on May 14th, your words carry real weight and warmth.
Yes. You will experience clear, honest, loving communication where you feel completely understood by your partner. For a Scorpio, feeling truly understood without having to hide your darker emotions is a very rare and precious thing.
I want to point this out clearly to the listener. If you need to have a heart-to-heart conversation with someone you love, or if there is something you've been trying to explain but you could not find the right words, circle May 14 on your calendar. That is the day to talk. The words will just flow and they will be received with warmth.
I completely agree. Make sure to circle that date. And then the progression continues into the next day, May 15. The moon leaves fiery Aries and enters Taurus.
So we go from cleaning the house in a frenzy to suddenly wanting to just sit on the couch and enjoy the house we just cleaned. The charts say this is another one of the best dates of the week.
It is. The moon loves being in Taurus. Astrologers say the moon is exalted in Taurus, which means it operates at its absolute best there.
So it's super comfortable.
Extremely comfortable. Taurus is ruled by Venus, the planet of comfort, beauty, and pleasure. So when the moon visits Taurus, it brings a very cozy, romantic mood. It's the perfect energy for a quiet date night at home. You don't need to go out to a loud, crowded restaurant.
Order the best takeout in town, put on a movie you both love, grab a really soft blanket, and just be near each other.
Exactly. It's about physical presence and comfort. Because look at how the week is setting the stage. First, you dream together on the 13th with Mercury and Jupiter. Then you talk about those dreams clearly on the 14th with the Kazimi. You enjoy quiet physical bonding time on the 15th with the exalted moon.
It's a total build-up.
It is. And all of that preparation leads you perfectly into May 16th, the new moon in Taurus.
This is the luckiest day to start a new romance or level up a current one. If you are single, this is the day to say yes to a date. If you're dating, this is the day to make it exclusive. It is a day to make a real, grounded commitment.
Definitely.
But the romantic story doesn't stop on the new moon. On May 17th, there is another major shift. Venus connects with Chiron. The charts say this brings a healing energy that soothes old trust issues and opens your heart.
This is a really deep transit.
Let's analyze this because Chiron is a very interesting piece of the astrological puzzle. What exactly is Chiron?
Chiron is actually not a planet. It is a comet with a unique, erratic orbit between the Saturn and Uranus. It was discovered in the 1970s, and astrologers named it after the centaur Chiron from Greek mythology.
Right, the centaur who was a great teacher and a healer, but he suffered a wound that would never heal. He could heal everyone else, but not himself.
Yes, the wounded healer. In your chart, wherever Chiron is located, it points to a deep underlying psychological wound. It is the tender spot. It is where you feel inadequate or hurt by the past.
Okay, so it's a sensitive area.
Very sensitive. Venus, on the other hand, is the planet of love, relationship values, and harmony. So when Venus makes a connection to Chiron on May 17th, the planet of love is directly touching your deepest emotional wounds.
That sounds painful. Why is that a good thing?
Well, because it is a healing aspect. Think of Chiron as a psychological stress test. It exposes the weak joints in your emotional foundation, not to break them, but to show you where you need to apply the medicine. When Venus touches Chiron, it brings compassion to those old wounds.
I see. It's not poking the wound with a stick. It's applying a bandage. I was trying to think of a way to describe this for a Scorpio. A Scorpio's natural tendency is to be secretive. You naturally want to guard your heart, keep your walls up, and protect yourself.
It's their default setting.
Right. If someone hurt you in the past, a Scorpio will lock that memory away and promise never to let anyone close enough to do it again.
That is the classic Scorpio defense mechanism.
So when Venus meets Chiron on the 17th, it's like finally going into the back of your closet and throwing away the heavy armor you don't need anymore. You were looking at the scars from the ex who lied to you or the friend who betrayed you, and instead of feeling angry, you just feel ready to move on. The Venus-Chiron energy acts like emotional medicine, helping you let go of the past so you don't carry it into this brand new chapter you just started on the new moon.
That is a very accurate way to analyze it. You are putting down the shield. For a Scorpio, this level of open, clear communication, followed by this deep emotional release, it's a rare and beautiful shift. It is a week where love is not a battlefield, but a sanctuary.
It really is. It's a profound opportunity to heal. But, as much as your heart is open and your home life is cozy this week, you cannot stay on the couch forever.
No, eventually you have to go to work.
Sadly, yes.
Yeah.
The world outside is calling. And the astro data shows that when you step into the office, the pace picks up extremely fast. Let's move into the career zone and talk about your coworkers, your daily tasks, and your cash.
The work environment is going to be incredibly active, and it starts with a very positive push. On May 11th, which again is one of your best dates, the Sun connects with lucky Jupiter. In the context of your career, this gives you a very positive, expansive attitude toward your daily professional duties.
You walk into the office on May 11th feeling like, bring it on. I can handle whatever my boss throws at me today.
Exactly. You have a broader perspective. You are not annoyed by the small inconveniences. And then on May 13, when the moon enters Aries, that falls into the area of your chart that governs your daily routines and your workspace.
Okay, so what does that look like?
This gives you a massive burst of motivation to organize your desk, clear out your inbox, and finish all those pending tasks you have been ignoring.
So the 11th is the good attitude, and the 13th is the pure physical motivation to actually get the work done. But then on May 14th, something really interesting happens in the charts. The data mentions a benefic enclosure, bringing protection over your relationships with your coworkers. What exactly is a benefic enclosure? It sounds like an ancient magic spell.
It is an ancient concept. It comes from Hellenistic astrology, which was practiced thousands of years ago. To understand it, you have to know that ancient astrologers divided the planets into two teams, the benefics and the malefics.
Okay, so the good and the bad.
Sort of, yes. The benefics are Venus and Jupiter. They bring good things, harmony, luck, growth, and ease. The malefics are Mars and Saturn. They bring challenges, friction, delay, heat, and obstacles.
Okay, so Venus and Jupiter are the good guys. Mars and Saturn are the tough teachers.
Exactly. Now imagine the planets moving along their path in the sky. An enclosure, or besiegement, happens when a planet is trapped between two other planets. A benefic enclosure happens when the planet representing you is sandwiched directly between Venus and Jupiter.
Oh, wow. So you have the planet of love on one side and the planet of luck on the other.
Yes. Ancient astrologers believed that planets sent out rays of light. When you are enclosed by Venus and Jupiter, their positive rays create a shield around you. They block out the harsh rays of any difficult planets.
That sounds incredibly helpful.
It is. In your daily work life on May 14, this acts like an invisible force field. If there's workplace drama happening 3 desks down, it bounces right off you. If a project is falling apart for another team, your part of the project runs smoothly. You are protected from the office chaos.
I love the idea of wearing an invisible force field to work. But the charts show you are going to need that protection because things get a little bumpy on May 16th. The data warns that Mars meets Chiron. What happens when the planet of war meets the wounded healer in your work zone?
Mars is a planet of action, speed, and sometimes frustration. When it meets Chiron, the sore spot, you might feel easily triggered or frustrated by a coworker. And the chart suggests it is specifically going to be frustration with a lazy colleague.
Oh no, someone who isn't pulling their weight.
Yes.
That makes total sense. You had all that Aries energy on the 13th, making you work hard and clear your desk. Now it is the 16th, and you are looking around thinking, why am I the only one working hard?
Yes. The danger here is that Mars wants to start a fight about it. But remember, Chiron is involved, so fighting will only cause a bigger wound. The advice from the charts is to use that protective energy from earlier in the week. Stay calm, focus on your own brilliant work.
Just ignore them.
Exactly. Do not let someone else's lack of effort derail your focus or drag you into an argument.
Let them be lazy, and you just keep shining.
Mhm.
And then by May 17th, the work energy shifts entirely into the mind. Mercury enters Gemini, and your research skills become totally unstoppable.
Yes, as we discussed earlier, Mercury in Gemini makes your brain incredibly sharp. You will be able to solve complex problems at work faster than anyone else.
Okay, so work is fast-paced. We have the good attitude on the 11th, the force field on the 14th, the annoying lazy coworker on the 16th, and the sharp mind on the 17th. Now let's talk about the money.
Let's do it.
The financial forecast looks very positive, but the charts clearly state it needs your sharp attention. You cannot just put your finances on autopilot this week.
No, you cannot. And the financial focus really begins on May 14th. That is when the Sun and Mercury are together in Taurus. This gives you the ability to speak clearly and plainly with your business partners about money.
That Kazemi energy again.
Yes, exactly. If you need to discuss splitting profits, managing shared expenses, or asking for a raise, this is the day to do it. The communication is clear and fair.
No hidden agendas. Just putting the numbers on the table. And then May 16th, with that new moon in your partnership zone again, it says it is fantastic for signing lucrative contracts.
Yes. A new moon in an earth sign like Taurus is the perfect time to form a solid business partnership that will bring steady, reliable money in the future. It's not a get-rich-quick energy, it's a build wealth slowly energy.
That's the best kind. But the energy speeds up drastically on May 17th. The charts show a double transit. Both the moon and Mercury enter the sign of Gemini. How does Gemini energy affect a Scorpio's wallet?
To understand this, we have to look at the structure of the astrological houses. If you are a Scorpio, the sign of Gemini falls into your 8th house.
What does the 8th house govern?
The 8th house is a very deep, complex area of life. It governs shared resources, other people's money, taxes, debts, investments, and inheritances.
So it's not just your regular paycheck.
No, not at all. It is the wealth you build with others or the hidden financial structures of your life. So when the fast-moving moon and the sharp-minded Mercury both enter this zone at the same time, your mind starts working extremely fast regarding investments and shared money.
So it is like suddenly seeing the matrix of the stock market or your business sector. You are putting the puzzle pieces together so quickly that you spot clever financial opportunities that other people completely miss.
Exactly. You might be reading an article on May 17th and you spot a tiny detail about a business trend that everyone else is ignoring. Because your mind is moving so fast, you see the potential before the crowd does.
That is an amazing advantage. And there is one more detail about May 17 in the financial charts that really caught my eye. Venus connects with Chiron. And the data says this helps you let go of hidden fears about losing your hard-earned cash or making bad investments.
Yes, that is a key transit.
But wait, I need to stop you here. I want to challenge this because earlier in the love section, we said Venus and Chiron were healing our love lives and our trust issues on May 17.
We did.
But here in the money section, it says it is healing fears of losing cash. How can one planetary event do two completely different things at the exact same time? Is the chart just throwing everything at the wall to see what sticks?
That is a brilliant question to ask, and it gets to the heart of how astrology actually works psychologically. The charts show us that planetary energy applies to different zones of your life at the same time because the root human emotion is the same.
How do you mean? How are love and money the same emotion?
Think about the psychology of a Scorpio. Scorpios value security and control. Fear is the root of both trust issues in relationships and money hoarding in your finances.
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
Right. If you have trust issues, it is because you are afraid someone will take away your emotional security. If you are hoarding money or afraid to invest, it is because you are afraid the market will take away your physical security. It is the exact same fear of loss, just playing out in two different arenas.
Oh, wow. That makes so much sense. It is the same underlying fear, just wearing different hats.
Exactly. So when Venus, which rules both love and money in astrology, meets the healing energy of Chiron, it treats the root cause. Emotional healing often unlocks financial confidence.
That is so interesting.
When you stop operating from a place of deep fear, whether that is the fear of getting your heart broken or the fear of going broke, you loosen your grip. And when you loosen your grip, you open yourself up to abundance in both love and money.
That is a massive insight. Letting go of the tight grip actually brings more in.
Hmm.
But carrying all this mental energy, spotting financial trends, dealing with lazy coworkers, signing new contracts, doing all this deep emotional healing, all of this can seriously drain your physical battery.
Oh, absolutely. It's a lot to process.
Which brings us to an urgent warning in the health charts. We need to talk about protecting your body this week.
Yes, your physical health must be a major priority this week, Scorpio. There is a lot of planetary action happening in your wellness zone, and if you are not careful, the friction between your mind and your body could cause problems.
It starts off feeling great, right? On May 11th, we have the Sun and Jupiter boosting your natural energy levels. You feel strong and capable. And then on May 13, when the Moon enters Aries, the charts say you might feel this sudden, intense urge to start a really heavy new workout routine. You wake up and think, I'm going to run 10 miles today, or I am going to lift the heaviest weights in the gym. But the charts say you should absolutely not rush into this. Why is that?
Because we are leading up to a very dangerous transit on May 16th. This is the most important day of the week to watch out for your health. On May 16th, Mars makes a direct conjunction with Chiron in the sign of Aries.
Let's analyze this carefully. What does a conjunction mean in this context?
A conjunction means two planets are at the exact same degree in the sky. Their energies are completely blended together. Now, remember what we said earlier. Mars is the ancient ruling planet of Scorpio.
Right.
That makes any movement of Mars highly personal for you. It directly impacts your physical body. And Aries is the sign that rules your sixth house of health and daily routines.
Okay, so your ruling planet, Mars, the god of war, the planet of pushing hard and moving fast, is sitting directly on top of Chiron, the wounded healer, right in the zone that controls your physical health.
Yes. And because it is in the fire sign of Aries, the impulse is going to be incredibly hot and fast. You will feel this intense surge of energy to push your body to the absolute limit.
But that's a bad idea.
A terrible idea. Because Chiron is there, the weak spots in your physical foundation are exposed. This intense energy can easily cause physical burnout, muscle tears, or minor sports injuries if you push too hard.
It feels like driving a car and noticing the check engine light is blinking bright red on the dashboard. But instead of pulling over, you decide to floor the gas pedal just to see how fast the car can go before it breaks down.
That is the exact dynamic. Mars wants to floor the gas pedal. Chiron is the check engine light.
But what is the solution? What does a Scorpio actually do on May 16th instead of going to the gym and lifting heavy?
You have to satisfy both planets. You have to honor the physical need to move, which is Mars, but you have to do it in a way that heals the body, which is Chiron. This is the day to take the car to the spa for an oil change.
I like that.
You must use this day to practice gentle, restorative activities. Think slow, deep yoga. Think meditation. Think long walks in nature.
Yeah.
Do not lift heavy. Do not run fast. Do not push through pain.
And I am thinking about how all these different zones of life connect to each other. On May 16, we also have that lazy coworker causing you intense frustration at the office. Your mind is dealing with that annoyance, and if you do not process it, that mental stress can easily manifest as physical tension.
It almost always does.
Your shoulders get tight, your jaw clenches, your lower back aches.
Absolutely. The mind-body connection is very strong during this transit. The sixth house rules both the work you do and the health of the body that does the work. When you experience stress in the office, the body keeps the score.
So doing some gentle stretching on May 16th is not just good for your muscles. It is absolutely vital for your mind to physically release that office stress so it doesn't turn into an injury.
Precisely. You have to let the steam out of the kettle slowly. Thankfully, the pressure drops significantly the next day. When the moon enters Gemini on May 17th, your mind will finally relax. You will find mental peace, and the physical tension in your body will lift.
That is a huge relief. So to protect your health, grow your wealth, and nurture these beautiful new chapters in your relationships this week, it heavily depends on who you surround yourself with. The energy of the people around you is going to impact you deeply.
It really is.
We need to look at the astro data to see exactly who will drain your battery and who will lift you up. Let's talk about your cosmic companions and your lucky toolkit for the week.
Let's start with your toolkit. Your color of the week is maroon. And your lucky numbers are all multiples of 9. So that is 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, and 54.
Good numbers to keep in mind. I can imagine using those numbers to structure the day. Now let's look at the people. Who is the absolute best match for Scorpio this week?
Your best match this week, without a doubt, is Pisces.
Another water sign.
Yes, and the reason they are your best match comes down to the geometry of the charts. Scorpio and Pisces are separated by 120 degrees on the zodiac wheel. This angle is called a trine, and it is the most harmonious, easy-flowing angle in astrology.
Because they're both water.
Exactly. Because you are both water signs, you speak the same emotional language. Your energy blends perfectly with Pisces this week. Let's walk through how this looks day by day, because they match every single planetary shift.
Okay, let's track it. On May 11, we had the Sun and Jupiter bringing hope.
With the Pisces, that transit brings incredible joy and expansion to your spiritual connection with them. You feel entirely uplifted just being in their presence.
And on May 13th, when the moon is in Aries, and a Scorpio might be feeling that urge to push too hard or get aggressive, what happens with Pisces?
Mercury helps you and Pisces share your deepest emotions and creative dreams without any fear of judgment. The water element cools down the Aries fire. You can just let your guard down completely with them.
Then on May 14th, we have that beautiful Cazimi, the Sun and Mercury together in Taurus, making communication clear and protected.
You will feel completely supported by your loyal Pisces friend or partner on that day. They hear you exactly as you want to be heard.
On May 15th, the moon is exalted in Taurus.
This makes your one-on-one time with them incredibly cozy and romantic. It is effortless comfort.
And on the big day, May 16th, the new moon in the partnership zone.
The charts indicate Pisces is the absolute best person to start a new chapter with. Whether it is a friend you want to grow closer to or a partner you want to commit to, they are ready to meet you halfway.
Finally, on May 17th, that deep Venus and Chiron emotional healing.
Being with the Pisces on this day helps melt away any past sadness you have experienced together. It is a shared healing.
It sounds like spending time with a Pisces this week is basically like a warm hug for your soul. Every single transit just harmonizes with them perfectly.
It really does. It's beautiful synergy.
But the universe always demands balance. If Pisces is the warm hug, who is the worst match for Scorpio this week?
Your worst match this week is Aquarius.
Oh boy. The charts say interacting with an Aquarius is going to feel very confusing and intensely frustrating. Why is that? Why do they clash so badly this week?
Again, it comes down to the geometry and the elements. Scorpio is a water sign. Aquarius is an air sign. Water wants depth, feeling, and merging. Air wants logic, space, and independence.
So they're basically speaking different languages.
Entirely different. Furthermore, on the zodiac wheel, Scorpio and Aquarius are exactly 90 degrees apart. This creates an angle called a square.
And a square brings friction.
A lot of friction. They're both what we call fixed signs. They are stubborn. They dig their heels in. Let's compare the week and see how an Aquarius reacts to these exact same planetary movements, because it is a stark contrast to how you feel.
Okay, let's look at May 11. You are feeling hopeful, looking for connection.
But for an Aquarius, the Sun and Jupiter make them focus entirely on their wide circle of friends and social networks. They might just ignore you completely because they're too busy with the crowd.
Then on May 13th, the moon enters Aries. You are motivated to clean up and get organized.
Aquarius acts entirely unpredictable and rebellious under that Aries moon. They want to break the rules just for the sake of breaking them.
Which, for a Scorpio, is incredibly tough. That triggers your deepest need to control the situation. When things are unpredictable, a Scorpio immediately wants to grab the steering wheel.
Exactly. It creates an instant power struggle. Then on May 14th, when you have that Cazimi energy and you want clear, deep, honest communication, you might try to have an emotional talk with them.
And how do they respond?
The charts show Aquarius will respond with cold, detached logic that completely dismisses your feelings and just hurts your heart.
Ouch. Water sign depth versus air sign detachment. You pour out your feelings, and they hand you a spreadsheet analyzing why your feelings are inefficient.
Yes, it is a total mismatch of language. And on May 16th, during that beautiful new moon, when you deeply want commitment and a solid foundation, Aquarius feels trapped and runs away to stay free and independent.
Also on May 16th, we have Mars meeting Chiron. That's signature of frustration and anger.
This is when sudden arguments erupt. You are hurt, and Aquarius acts completely detached, refusing to understand or even acknowledge your deep emotional pain.
Finally, on May 17th, when Mercury moves into Gemini and your mind is sharp and focused.
Aquarius becomes even more flighty, scattered, and impossible for you to pin down for a serious conversation.
So if I work with an Aquarius, or worse, if I'm married to one, am I just doomed this week? What is a Scorpio supposed to do when they hit that wall of cold logic day after day? You can't just banish them from your life.
You are not doomed, but you absolutely need a strategy. You have to use the tools the charts give you. At work, use that benefic enclosure, that protective office force field from May 14th. If your lazy or frustrating coworker on the 16th is an Aquarius, keep strict professional boundaries. Do not engage emotionally. In your personal life, lean into the clear communication of the Cazimi to simply state your needs.
So don't try to change them.
Exactly. Do not demand that the Aquarius change their entire nature to become deep and emotional. Just state what you need plainly and accept that this is a week where you must seek emotional comfort elsewhere. Go find your Pisces friend when you need a hug and leave the Aquarius to their own devices.
That makes total sense. You cannot squeeze water from a stone. And you can use your toolkit. Picture that lucky color maroon acting as a shield of warmth around you when you have to interact with them. And maybe use your lucky numbers to give you a psychological edge.
That's a great idea.
Right. If you have to deal with a difficult Aquarius coworker, set the meeting for the 9th hour of the day, or tell yourself you are only going to engage in the conversation for exactly 18 minutes before walking away. Use the numbers to bring a little extra luck and maintain your own control.
That is a highly effective way to apply the charts to your daily life. You use the elements to maintain your peace.
Well, we have covered so much vital ground today. We analyzed the massive spotlight on your relationships, the amazing new grounded chapter waiting for you on the new moon. We looked at the fast pace at work, the sharp attention you need to spot those hidden financial trends, and the absolutely critical warning to protect your physical battery by taking it easy when Mars meets Chiron. But as we wrap up, I cannot stop thinking about the friction between Scorpio and Aquarius this week. It is such a stark contrast.
It is definitely the major point of tension in the charts, the deeply loyal, controlling water sign versus the fiercely independent, detached air sign.
It is. But here's a final thought for you to mull over, Scorpio, as you go about your week. What if the flighty, detached Aquarius is not just trying to annoy you? What if, in their own strange, irritating way, they are acting as a mirror? What if their cold detachment is actually showing you your own hidden, exhausting fears of losing control because you hold on so tightly to everything and everyone you love? Maybe their extreme, stubborn need for freedom is a quiet reminder from the universe that you too are allowed to loosen your grip just a little bit. You do not have to steer the ship all the time. Sometimes you can just let the water carry you.
That is a profound perspective to take away from the charts. Sometimes the people who frustrate us the most are offering the exact medicine we need, even if it tastes bitter at first.
Exactly. Let go of the wheel just a little bit this week, Scorpio. Thank you so much for listening to this episode on Horoscope TV. We love breaking down these charts for you. Make sure you hit subscribe to the show so you never miss an update, and you will get notified the exact moment the next episode is available. Have a wonderful, deeply healing week ahead. You have absolutely got this.